Kirby, Ralph Vacchiano, Facebook, Twitter, Archive Phoenix. Dave Gettleman has dismantled a big chunk of the Giants' roster, while spending the team's money in some odd places. He's left a fan base angry, confused, and beginning to lose patience and hope. In the end, though, Gettleman's plan only really needs the approval of his bosses, and it's safe to say that even though team ownership doesn't meddle in football decisions, co-owner John Mara would have had to approve most of these off-season moves. There's no way a big deal such as the Odell Beckham trade would have happened if ownership wasn't in on it from the start. So what do Mara and Steve Tisch think of what's happening to their franchise? That's a good question that will likely get answered this week, with both owners expected to speak to the media during the NFL owners' meetings at the Arizona Biltmore Resort and Spa. Here are 5 big questions that both owners need to be asked. 1. When did things go wrong with Odell Beckham? Mara would never have greenlighted Beckham's 5-year, $90 million contract with $41 million guaranteed if he really didn't believe the receiver had a long-term future with the Giants. This time last year he was hopeful, but wasn't sure. Then last August he decided to take the plunge. 7 months later Beckham has traded. So what happened in the interim? As SNY reported, there was a feeling in the Giants that Beckham had become a pain in the ass, as multiple team sources indicated. It's believed that Mara's patience was lost after Beckham's infamous ESPN interview where he questioned quarterback Eli Manning and indicated he wasn't happy in New York. After that interview, Mara said, "I think he needs to do a little more playing and a little less talking." So was that it? Was there more? An explanation is needed because it was more than a football decision, despite what GM Dave Gettleman said, and it's as stunning a reversal as there's been about a player in Giants history. Mara and Tisch paid Beckham $21 million for 12 games. 2. How much did ownership have to do with the Giants' decision to stick with Eli Manning? This has been a long-running conspiracy theory, that Mara, out of loyalty to the quarterback that brought him 2 Super Bowls, has somehow run interference and forced his GM to stick by the 38-year-old Manning. It's been debunked by many, but Mara needs to address it, and to address Manning's future. Clearly he's loyal to Manning, and clearly he wants to handle his exit with respect. Presumably he has oaked the Kansas City model that Gettleman wants to do, where he brings in a young quarterback to sit and learn behind Manning. But that could still be awkward, even though Manning is obviously a lame duck with his contract set to expire at the end of the season. Mara was furious 2 years ago with the clumsy way the Jerry Reese-Ben McAdoo tandem handled the temporary move away from Manning. It's safe to say he'll at least have a hand in how the move away from him permanently happens, if not when. 3. Is now absolutely the time to find Manning's replacement? Seems obvious, right? Really, it seemed obvious for years, including last year when they passed on all those franchise quarterbacks at the top of the draft. Mara has watched his GMs continually kick the quarterback can down the road. But with Manning turning 38 and unsigned beyond this season, doesn't the owner see the need to draft someone now, or trade for someone if Josh Rosen is available? Gettleman would not rule out waiting until the 2020 draft. But that could be dangerous and could mean another year of Manning, too. Mara and Tisch have to feel the urgency to do it now. Or how do the owners like what Gettleman is doing? First of all, for everyone that thinks the Giants are tanking, Mara and Tisch will clearly strongly dispute that. Back in 2017, when many thought the same thing, Mara famously said, "That's complete bull T. I would never allow that here," so his opinion on Gettleman's plan will have to do with both the future and the Giants' chances of actually winning games in the present. Are they good with the seemingly conflicting moves of shedding contracts and talent like Beckham, Landon Collins and Olivier Vernon, while committing $23.2 million in cap space to a 38-year-old quarterback and giving $23 million guaranteed to 30-year-old receiver Golden Tate? Last year, Mara indicated the rebuilding of his franchise was going to take longer than he anticipated. "I'm not sure it's going to be a quick fix," he said back in October. Are they closer? Is he happy with the plan, whatever it is? 5. What is the message to the fans, who have lost faith and have seen their favorite players thrown away? What Mara and Tisch say to this is huge, because Beckham was a franchise icon, Collins was a very popular young player, and right now there is a lot of anti-Gettleman sentiment. All of that is in the context of the Giants missing the playoffs 6 of the last 7 years. The fan base is so frustrated they've turned on Manning, with many wanting the Giants to move on, even though they don't have anyone to move on to at the moment. Can Mara and Tisch calm their fears? Can they say anything to appease everyone? Probably not. Nothing but wins will help. But they owe it to their paying customers to give it a try. October 15, 2017, Houston, Texas, USA, Cleveland Browns offensive guard Kevin Zeitler, 70, during the game against the Houston Texans at NRG Stadium. Mandatory credit, Kevin J. Raj. USA Today Sports, Kevin J. Raj. Before the Giants and Browns struck the trade of the offseason with Wr. Odell Beckham Jr. heading to Cleveland, they made another deal where Olivier Vernon was on his way as well. In that deal, the Giants got Kevin Zeitler in return, a right guard that would be plugged right into their offensive line next season. Zeitler didn't think he would be making the move, though. There was some speculation that the Browns had him on the trade market, but after signing a 5-year, $60 million deal back in 2017 with Cleveland, he thought he would be there for the long haul. Instead, he saw his phone blow up during a workout, and the shock set in. New York Giants cornerback Curtis Riley intercepts a pass intended for Tampa Bay Buccaneers wide receiver Deshaun Jackson in the fourth quarter at MetLife Stadium. Robert Deutsch. USA Today Sports. The Giants lost another safety on Friday when Curtis Riley tweeted he was joining the Raiders. While the Giants acquired Jabril Peppers in the blockbuster Odell Beckham Jr. trade earlier this month, their secondary took a massive hit after infamously not placing the franchise tag on Landon Collins, letting him walk and eventually sign a 6-year deal with the Washington Redskins. Cleveland Browns offensive guard Kevin Zeitler blocks Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive tackle Channing Ward during the second quarter at Raymond James Stadium. Kim Clement. USA Today Sports. Giants head coach Pat Shurmur is excited to work with the Giants' offseason acquisitions, from safety Jabril Peppers to wide receiver Golden Tate, but the one that stands out to him is offensive lineman Kevin Zeitler. When you add a solid, veteran player that's established himself and he's consistent and tough and has all the attributes you're looking for in an offensive lineman to add to that crew, we got better, Shurmur said, according to the New York Post's Paul Schwartz. While they were announced as separate deals, Zeitler's trade, when the Giants dealt pass rusher Olivier Vernon to the Cleveland Browns, went into the NFL transaction log combined with the blockbuster Odell Beckham Jr. deal, given both trades were agreed to before the new league year began. November 23, 2018, Morgantown, West Virginia, USA. West Virginia Mountaineers quarterback Will Grier, 7, celebrates during the second quarter against the Oklahoma Sooners at Mountaineer Field at Milan Puskar Stadium. Mandatory credit, Ben Queen. USA Today Sports. Ben Queen. After watching Dwayne Haskins put on a show in his pro day at Ohio State, the Giants are back on the road to see more top quarterback prospects in action on Thursday. According to SNY's Ralph Vacchiano, Pat Shurmur will be present in Morgantown, West Virginia to watch Will Grier and the rest of the Mountaineers perform at their pro day. Grier is another intriguing quarterback prospect, though he isn't considered to be a first-round talent. The 6'1", 214-pound Grier has an interesting college story that began at Florida in 2015. He was expected to lead the Gators following his freshman season, but a paid suspension for taking an over-the-counter substance led him to transfer to West Virginia. He had to sit out the entire 2016 season, as is the rule for transfers, and he showed out in his junior season. Dave Gettleman. Mandatory credit, Danielle Parhiskarin. USA Today Sports. Danielle Parhiskarin. Ralph Vacchiano. Facebook, Twitter. Archive. The Giants now have 12 picks in the upcoming NFL Draft, which gives them a chance to fill a lot of holes and strengthen a lot of weak positions. It's very early, but here's a look at how those 12 picks could go. First round, no. 6 overall, DeRozan Gary, Michigan, March 2, 2019, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA, Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins, QB05, runs the 40-yard dash during the 2019 NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brian Spurlock. USA Today Sports. Brian Spurlock. Ohio State hosted many NFL teams at their pro day on Wednesday, and though Nick Bosa didn't participate in any drills, top-rated QB Dwayne Haskins showcased his talents on the indoor turf. And the results were impressive. Experts on hand to watch the 6'3", 231-pound Haskins sent rave reviews out through Twitter after watching him go through his full workout where he missed only a couple throws. The consensus was Haskins hits all the marks physically, and he showcased his arm strength and accuracy the entire time. See what experts said. March Madness is officially underway as the NCAA tournament has kicked off. So, in the spirit of the big dance, SNY's loudmouths decided to make their very own bracket, but not the one you're thinking of. Instead, Sal Licata and John Hein has compiled a bracket of the best New York transactions since the start of 2018. And who's the no. 1 overall seed? If you guessed Odell Beckham Jr., you're correct. Is there any other transaction that can top the Giants sending away one of the most talented NFL players in the game right now? NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell announces the number 9th overall pick to the New York Giants. Dennis Wersbicky. With their quarterback situation in shambles, the Redskins are sniffing around about trading up in the NFL draft, reports Jason LaCanfora of NFL.com. LaCanfora speculates that the play for the Redskins could be to trade from No. 15 to get the Jets pick at No. 3. That would allow them to jump ahead of the Giants at No. 6 and snatch Ohio State QB Dwayne Haskins from them, if he is indeed who the Giants are targeting. Aside from the Giants and Redskins as candidates who could try to deal with the Jets for No. 3. LaCanfora mentions the Broncos and Jaguars, but doubts either would do it. Pat Shurmur. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner. USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. When Giants GM Dave Gettleman faced the media over a conference call on Monday to discuss the Odell Beckham Jr. trade, he simply said the move was purely a football decision. We didn't sign him to trade him, but obviously things changed, Gettleman said. Another team made us an offer we couldn't refuse, so what does his head coach Pat Shurmur think about one of his most lethal offensive weapons moving on to Cleveland? He is on Gettleman's side. November 24, 2018, Columbus, Ohio, USA. Ohio State Buckeyes quarterback Dwayne Haskins, 7, throws a pass against the Michigan Wolverines at Ohio Stadium. Mandatory credit, Greg Bartram. USA Today Sports. Greg Bartram. Giants GM Dave Gettleman has recently sounded like someone who's itching to take a quarterback with the No. 6 overall pick in the upcoming NFL Draft. On Tuesday, a Giants contingent attended the pro day for Ohio State QB Dwayne Haskins. After Haskins' pro day, head coach Pat Shurmur, OC Mike Shula, SVP of Player Personnel Chris Mara, scout Chris Pettit, and assistant GM Kevin Abrams had dinner with him, according to the NFL Network's Mike Garofalo. According to SNY's Ralph Vacchiano, Shurmur was present at the pro days for every top quarterback in last year's NFL Draft and have been expected to do the same this year. Last week, they were in Oklahoma for QB Kyler Murray's pro day and should also be present at Drew Lock's showcase at Missouri on Friday, November 25, 2018. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. New York Giants wide receiver Odell Beckham, 13, and running back Saquon Barkley, 26, in the tunnel before game against Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. Mandatory credit, Eric Hartline. USA Today Sports. Eric Hartline. Before the world found out about the blockbuster trade between the Giants and the Browns, Saquon Barkley received a call from Odell Beckham Jr., the highlight of the deal. We talked over FaceTime, he had just gotten traded, so I don't think he was really happy about it, Barkley told NJ.com's Matt Lombardo after Penn State's pro day on Tuesday, where the former Nittany Lion went to support his former teammates. Just gave me some advice about how to handle stuff in the league. He was the same old big brother to me that he's always been. Barkley was out in Los Angeles with W.R. Sterling Shepard and Evan Engram working out together in preparation for the upcoming season. Beckham has also been out in LA doing the exact same, but he had been out in Paris when he got the call from GM Dave Gettleman that he was moving him to Cleveland. August 30, 2018, East Rutherford, NJ, USA. New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning, 10, shakes hands with New England Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, 12, after their game at MetLife Stadium. Mandatory credit, Vincent Carcietta. USA Today Sports, Vincent Carcietta, Ralph Vacchiano, Facebook, Twitter, Archive. Dave Gettleman was absolutely right when he said, "This narrative that Eli Manning is overpaid and can't play as a crock, of course he can play. Just look at his numbers from last season. And he's not even one of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the league anymore." Yet somehow over the last few years, Manning's detractors have taken his late career decline to ridiculous extreme. They make it sound like he's a 50-year-old who can't heave the ball 10 yards anymore, while he's eating up half of the team space under the salary cap. March 3, 2019, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Alabama defensive lineman Quinnen Williams, DL19, goes through workout drills during the 2019 NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brian Spurlock. USA Today Sports. Brian Spurlock. The Giants have several needs to address throughout the remainder of the offseason, not simply the future at quarterback. One position group that could use an influx of dynamic talent is the defensive line. On Tuesday, defensive coordinator James Bettcher and defensive line coach Gary Emanuel attended Alabama's Pro Day, specifically to check out defensive line prospect Quinnen Williams. According to Paul Schwartz of the New York Post, Williams is a projected top 5 draft pick, and the Giants hold the 6th and 17th overall picks in the first round. If he does slide to the Giants, though, perhaps his talent will be too much for Dave Gettleman to pass up, even though the general manager desires to secure the franchise's quarterback of the future sooner rather than later. March 2, 2019, Indianapolis, Indiana, USA. Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins, QB05, throws a pass during the 2019 NFL Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium. Mandatory credit, Brian Spurlock. USA Today Sports. Brian Spurlock. The Giants will be well represented at Ohio State Pro Day on Wednesday, according to NJ.com. Both Pat Shurmur and offensive coordinator Mike Shula are expected to be in attendance, presumably to focus on former Buckeyes quarterback Dwayne Haskins. The Buckeyes will also have other top-tier talent performing, such as pass rusher Nick Bosa and defensive tackle Draymond Jones. According to SNY's Ralph Vacchiano, the coaching duo were present at the pro days for every top quarterback in last year's NFL draft and are expected to do the same this time around. Last month, they were at Oklahoma for QB Kyler Murray's Pro Day and should also be present at Drew Lock's showcase at Missouri on Friday. New York Giants general manager Dave Gettleman speaks to the media during the 2019 NFL Combine at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Brian Spurlock, USA Today Sports. Ralph Vacchiano, Facebook, Twitter, Archive. Dave Gettleman was absolutely right when he lamented the fact we're living in an instant gratification world during his conference call on Monday. There's a rush to judge everything, a demand for an immediate payoff. Everyone wants to be first with a knee-jerk reaction or a juvenile social media take. And so, it was with the Giants' trade of Odell Beckham Jr. And, really, their entire offseason. Gettleman didn't get nearly enough for his star, some screamed. He has no plan, yelled others. Tweet by tweet, it was clear the world of keyboard warriors believed he didn't have a clue. Giants GM Dave Gettleman, Noah K. Murray, USA Today Sports. While Giants GM Dave Gettleman will not divulge much on what his plan is, he sounds as if he is ready to take a quarterback in the draft this April. After addressing reporters via conference call earlier in the day, Gettleman went on WFAN with Mike Francesco where he was asked about whether or not he still wants to find the future quarterback of the franchise. "Obviously we have to address it," Gettleman said. I'd be a real clown not to admit it. New York Giants offensive tackle Eric Flowers blocks as Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive end Robert Ayers rushes during the second half at Raymond James Stadium. Kim Clement, USA Today Sports. Landon Collins isn't the only former Giants player to join the division rival Redskins. Former Giants offensive lineman Eric Flowers will sign a one-year, $4 million deal with Washington, according to Pro Football Talk. Flowers, the former first-round bust, joined the Jacksonville Jaguars last October after the Giants cut him midway through the 2018 season. December 29, 2017, East Rutherford, NJ, USA, New York Giants general manager Dave Gettleman addresses the media at Quest Diagnostics Training Center. Mandatory credit, Vincent Carcietta. USA Today Sports. Vincent Carcietta. Dave Gettleman has made a series of head-scratching moves that sometimes seem to contradict each other. Meanwhile, a fan base already angered by nearly a decade of failure gets whiplash trying to figure him out. So what is Gettleman doing? Apparently only Gettleman knows. To the media and to the paying customers, he said on Monday that it's none of our business. He wants everyone to trust the process. He wants everyone to trust him. Gettleman on Odell Beckham trade. 0 hours 1 minute and 53 seconds. New York Giants GM Dave Gettleman gives his first public comments on why the team decided to trade away star receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. The Giants' decision to trade Odell Beckham Jr. to the Cleveland Browns for safety Jabril Peppers and a first and third-round pick was purely a football decision. At least that is how GM Dave Gettleman is justifying it. The Giants GM addressed the trade that shocked the NFL last week on a conference call with reporters on Monday and insisted that the reason for making the deal was because they received an offer that was just too good to pass up. New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning throws in the second quarter against the Tennessee Titans at MetLife Stadium. Robert Deutsch, USA Today Sports. Giants general manager Dave Gettleman has had enough of people criticizing Eli Manning. During a conference call on Monday, Gettleman launched a staunch defense of Manning, who will receive his $5 million roster bonus on Monday. This narrative that Eli's overpaid and can't play as a crock, Gettleman said. No, okay. Murray, the Giants are rounding out their receiving core in the wake of the Odell Beckham Jr. trade. The team resigned Cody Latimer, the wide receiver announced on Twitter Sunday night, back for seconds. Let's go Big Blue. Ready to get back to work with the squad. Time to finish what I started last season, he tweeted. New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning reacts after throwing an interception to Indianapolis Colts free safety Malik Hooker during the second half at Lucas Oil Stadium. Michael McEldowney, Indy star via USA Today Network. By the end of the 2019 season, Eli Manning will have been paid more than any player in NFL history. And he's about to get $5 million closer to his goal. The Giants' 38-year-old quarterback will, as expected, get his $5 million roster bonus, yet another signal that Manning will be the Giants' starting quarterback this year. According to his contract, he is due the bonus if he's on the roster by the end of the 5th day of the league year. Technically, Sunday is 5 days after the start of the new league year, but Manning's bonus will kick in on Monday, according to an NFL source. November 11, 2018, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones walks off the field after warm-ups against the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field. Mandatory credit, Eric Hartline. USA Today Sports. Eric Hartline, Jerry Jones is head over heels that Odell Beckham Jr. is no longer in the NFC East. The Cowboys owner joined Fox Sports 1 on Saturday night before the Errol Spence-Mikey Garcia fight at it. How do you feel about that? New York Giants quarterback Eli Manning, 10, stands next to general manager Dave Gettleman during NFL football training camp, Wednesday, April 25, 2018, in East Rutherford, NJ. AP photo, Julio Cortez, AP. Dave Gettleman has made it clear he wants to find the Giants quarterback of the future, and he seems intent on doing it sooner than later. But don't be so sure that he'll do it in the draft this year. despite the fact that the Giants have 2 first-round picks, and are in good position at No. 6 to take one of the first quarterbacks available. Multiple NFL sources caution that the Giants seem to have other things in mind. They are looking into all the first-round quarterbacks, and taking one is definitely a possibility, a team source said. September 9, 2018, East Rutherford, NJ, USA, New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley, 26, celebrates his touchdown against the Jacksonville Jaguars with offensive tackle Nate Solder, 76, and wide receiver Sterling Shepard, 87, during the fourth quarter at MetLife Stadium. The touchdown was the first of his NFL career. Mandatory credit, Brad Penner, USA Today Sports. Brad Penner. The Giants were 5-11 last year and missed the playoffs for the 6th time in 7 seasons, and now the consensus seems to be that things will only get worse. There's little hope outside the Meadowlands after GM Dave Gettleman tossed Odell Beckham Jr., Landon Collins and Olivier Vernon away. Yet Gettleman still thinks he can build a winner this season. Even new receiver Golden Tate insisted, "I don't think we're as far off as people may think." Pat Shurmur has pointed to the 12 games the Giants played last season which were decided by a touchdown or less, including 8 they lost, as a sign that it's a short leap to competitive football. Are they all delusional? Or is there really a chance the Giants could be good? January 5, 2019, Arlington, Texas, USA, Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson, 3, in action during an NFC wildcard playoff football game between the Cowboys and the Seahawks at it. Mandatory credit, Jerome Myron, USA Today Sports. Jerome Myron. Russell Wilson joined the Yankees on Friday in Tampa as a minor leaguer, but the topic of conversation remained focused on football, particularly New York Giants football. The Giants traded Odell Beckham Jr. to the Browns last week, a move that surprised many around the league, including the Seahawks quarterback. December 10, 2017, Glendale, Arizona, USA, Arizona Cardinals defensive tackle Olsen Pierre, 72, sacks Tennessee Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota, 8, during the first half at University of Phoenix Stadium. Mandatory credit, Matt Cardozian, USA Today Sports. Matt Cardozian. The Giants have added yet another former Cardinal who played in James Bettcher's defense. On Friday, the team announced it signed defensive tackle Olsen Pierre, who went undrafted in 2015 and didn't appear in an NFL game until 2017. He had 30 tackles, 5.5 sacks, 9 tackles for a loss and 9 QB hits across 14 games during that 2017 season when Bettcher was Arizona's defensive coordinator. Pierre had 12 tackles in 10 appearances last season. Dave Gettleman. Mandatory credit, Danielle Parhiskarin, USA Today Sports. Danielle Parhiskarin. Ralph Bacchiano. Facebook, Twitter, archive. Just 15 months ago, the Giants hired Dave Gettleman to fix the franchise. He earned praise for a series of early house-cleaning moves. He seemed tough and honest, and it looked like he had a handle on the franchise's biggest problems. Suddenly, his new title is Embattled GM. New York Giants cornerback Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, 41, defends against the Dallas Cowboys during an NFL football game, Sunday, September 10, 2017, in Arlington, Texas. AP photo, Michael Ainsworth. AP